Evening, lads. How are you? I'll just bring Duncan in there now. Evening, sir.
How are things?
Not too bad. And yourself?
You're not so bad, no?
Very good, very good. There's a few logged in already.
It's better than last. Again, there's two of us in this time.
Yeah, it's a bit better than last time, yeah. Last time was a bit of a disaster. I was trying to figure things out in this end, and I left all alone. I don't know who's going to moderate for us tonight.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out between the two of us.
And so we'll manage the comments, all right.
We'll be grand, I'd say.
Yeah. How was your day, all right?
Yeah, not so bad, no. Not so bad. Kept busy.
Yeah, that's the job. That's the job.
Sure. Yeah.
Keeping power to the country.
Absolutely.
So there's about 7 in there now already, I think.
Yeah, not too bad.
So I suppose my name is Brendan from West Cork Marine, and this is Duncan, also from West Cork Marine. Sometimes,
yeah. Part-time.
So I suppose we'll start away and say, how did you find your way into it, or what got you the notion of getting into this mad crack? Or
Sure. I suppose you kind of touched on it last week. It's a tough game to get into, you know. I suppose it stemmed from having boats to start with. Not really touching the mechanic side of things, just having a boat. The way we got into it then was, I think you started servicing our boat for us, and it was just kind of, you mentioned it to my father, and that you were looking for a fella, so I said I'd give it a crack. You know, I was tinkering away with cars and stuff like that, and I touched a couple of jet skis and stuff like that before. But I came away for weekends, just kind of giving it a crack at the weekends, and I enjoyed it, you know. Found a bit of a passion for it, like, and decided to come kind of part-time then. And that was 3 years ago, I suppose.
I suppose it is now, yeah.
Yeah.
So you came away Saturdays at the start, just to get a feel for things, didn't you?
Yeah, just to see what it was like, you know, and it was actually good crack from the start. I liked it. From the start. You know, there's massive avenues in it, like massive, you know, there's hundreds of different things we could be at. You know, fellas get a misconception, you know, that you're just kind of a filter jockey servicing engines, but Jesus, there's anything from tube work, trailer work, fiberglass work, diagnosis. The list is endless, really. Like, you know, you're never bored.
It changes hourly, never mind daily.
Hourly, yeah, minimum.
Yeah.
The day is gone, like.
I think that's what just keeps me interested as well, is that you're constantly new challenges, and you know it's never rinse and repeat. It's never the same thing over and over again in it. You know, you're different engines, different boats. We'll have to look at as well, don't you? Like, you get to see an awful lot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Hundreds of different things when a boat comes through the door. You actually don't know what you're expecting. You know, we'd have a lot of repeat customers, like, and that doesn't mean anything. You know, if you've a car you're looking at all the time, you'd have some notion of what could be wrong with it, but there's just so many different things with a boat then, you know.
Yeah, and especially our side of it, I suppose, when we're not just stuck in the mechanical side of the engine stuff. We're stuck in the fiberglassing, we're stuck in the antifolding, we're stuck in the trailers, the wiring, you name it. We're some way involved in it, and if we're not, then we're organising someone to do it for us and stuff like that. So it's there's always something, like, we're handling all the issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting too to see, like, the new issues that come up over the years. Like, the latest notorious one is the fuel, like, isn't it?
Oh, big time. Since the fuel went up to, it was E5, I think, and it's gone to E10 now. You know, it's doubled in ethanol. and wreaking havoc, wreaking absolute havoc. Once it's left in anything that isn't E10 compliant, it is writing things off. Fuel lines, fuel pumps, anything in the fuel system.
Yeah.
It is, it's burning hotter. It's not just the fuel system, it is the mechanical side of things as well. It is burning hotter, and that's having adverse effect on things as well.
It is, yeah. So we even seen there, remember that boat there that was in, we won't say which boat it was, but we serviced it in June, and we serviced it again there in September before we put it away. I remember the fuel filter that came out with it just fell apart.
Yeah, literally fell apart. The glue was gone.
3 or 4 months old, just fell apart.
Yeah. And that isn't poor quality parts. It is the effect of ethanol.
Yeah. I think that was a genuine filter actually. Wasn't
it? Was? Yeah.
Really new boat, so it was genuine stuff went into it. So it's a bit of a pain. And even the old robust, what you'd say, the robust, like the Raycar filters there that we're putting out, the steel ones.
Yeah.
With the rubber O-rings, the O-ring inside them swelling out, I know what they're saying is 6 to 8 weeks for the storage of fuel.
Something around that. It is ridiculous.
It's crazy, yeah. It's just crazy. Someone was asking me there today, are we replacing a lot of fuel lines, Sure, we're replacing a pile of them there. Yeah, and when I was actually telling him there that the few models of boats would say where the fuel line is hidden under the deck.
Yeah.
And you can't see it, if we know it's a certain age, we're pulling it out and checking it. And 9 times out of 10, that fuel line is knackered, it's swelled up, or it's closed up, or it's perished, and it's all down to this E10 stuff. 100%,
yeah, 100%. Fellas are arguing, that UV is damaging them and cracking them, and absolutely it is. But the innards are the issue. It's literally rotting them inside out, and that's something that a lot of fellas, don't know or they don't look out for. But it's definitely something to watch. The whole fuel system in your boat and your car, vintage cars, bikes, the whole thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Anything that's sitting for a little while, I think, is something you just have to check them out now. I hear the vintage boys on about it as well, especially the bikers and stuff like that. They're having serious problems too when they lay up their bikes. So,
yeah,
100%.
Keep it out of them if you're going laying them up.
Yeah. I suppose we're always seeing new little problems, aren't we?
All the time.
Yeah, keeps us going.
The gift that keeps on giving, as they say.
The gift that keeps on giving, absolutely, yeah.
Keeps us giving.
Absolutely, yeah. Comment away, lads, there if you have any questions for Duncan or me. Work away, whatever you think yourselves. If you've got a question about your own boats, it's coming up to winter now, if you have any questions on winterizing or anything like that. That's what we're at a lot now at the moment, and we're getting stuff ready to be stored away. So, as I said, anything that goes inside, we're happy enough to give them the anti-foul and stuff now. Because once they're inside, it'll keep them next year. If you're outdoor storage, I'd leave it off until closer to the season. Anti-foul closer to the season, so that kind of stuff. If you're flushing out your engines, give them a serious flush out. Don't be giving them 5 minutes on the hose or 5 minutes running in the barrel. Give them a good 20 minutes at least there to open up the thermostats and clean them all out. And I suppose if you are servicing stuff this time of year, let the fuel filters out.
100%, yeah, 100%. The service isn't going to go off, but with the way it's gone with the fuel, definitely try and leave out the filters until you're putting her in again next year. Yeah, or like we were talking about during the week, they're running them up, we'd say, with the old filters on them, have everything else done, run them up with the old filters on them, then drain down the fuel, drain down the engine fuel, put those filters in then so you don't forget them, but put them in dry so that there's no fuel getting at them for winter. Yeah, I just see a question in there. What's your opinion on the Optimax? I'm interested in buying a boat with a 135 Opti. I'll let Brendan cover the Optimaxes.
I'd be very careful with an Optimax. Their age they don't age well. There can be issues with corrosion and stuff like that. There's a complex enough system of fuel and oil injection. There's 2 separate injection systems in those. You've got your petrol injectors and you've got your oil injectors. There's a series of small little pipes that deliver everything, and like there's an awful lot around the Optimax wiring wise. There's 2 electric pumps in them. There's an alternator which wouldn't be too common on outboards of we'll say the 2 strokes. They have an alternator. They also have a compressor, so they have a running belt around the flywheel above, which is unusual for the 2 strokes. Just be very, very careful of what you're buying in Optimax.
Yeah.
They tend to corrode in around the heads and stuff as well. And the other thing to watch is if you're doing any work on an Optimax, the spark plugs, the V6s and the V6s, yeah, they go in a lot of different angles. They're the funniest thing out. You can cross-thread them in an instant, so you have to be fierce careful when you're getting the first few threads in. But they are one to watch 100%. Grand if they're going right and everything like that, but they can be a nightmare when they start going around. So just be careful with them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I suppose, especially the older Optimaxes, you know, they're primitive, supercharged. Like that's what they are. You know, the first of the charged outboards. Really, like they don't hold up great. A lot of them to the age and ease of working on them. Not great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're awkward. Like the other thing with Mercury is for the diagnostic side of things on them, you have to go to a Mercury dealer who's logged in to the Mercury dealer network through his Wi-Fi. So, like, even for a Mercury dealer to be able to come out, he'll have to hotspot the diagnostics off his own phone, which will have to be registered to Mercury. They make it very, very hard.
Yeah.
And they're wouldn't be my favourite now, to be honest. I see another question in there now. Do you think the manufacturers will adapt to work with the ethanol? They have to a degree. You've seen the last few years there'll be stickers on them saying that they're E5 compliant or E10, and all the newer models of the last few years are E5 and E10. But the engine itself, that just means it can run on it. It still shouldn't be left sitting. It shouldn't be left sitting in anything. Even brand new stuff, you shouldn't let it sit in it. Just drain it down and get it out, because your engine could be E10 compliant. That just means she can burn the E10. That's all it means, really. It's down to the Raycar filters, the fuel filters. Your fuel lines are rubber, and your fuel pumps, your filters inside, and the injection pump, everything. You just have to be so careful. Just drain them out.
Yeah, 100%. Keep it out if it's getting laid up at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you have a issue of so-called service history in a boat? Do you log your services when you do a boat? Not everyone does, I suppose, which is a pity. We do. We have a service sheet that we work off, and when we're servicing, we fill in what we've done to the boat. So we have a list, fairly long list of stuff there to check, and as we're going along, we put in the part numbers of the pieces we've changed. And you were saying you found that very helpful at the start when you were getting into things. Just filling out the service sheet as we were going along.
Yeah, 100%. Like anything, you know, especially when you're first getting into it, it's very easy to miss a small step, you know, and, you know, not to be blowing out of proportion, but when you're working on other people's boats, you know, something small can lead to a very big issue. You know, they're trusting you at the end of the day. They're going out in the boat to a place where help isn't always close by. So, you know, the service sheet is definitely a massive help in just making sure the job is done thoroughly. And, keeping a good standard of work, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very handy, because we say if a customer decides to sell the boat, but he's been dealing with us for 4 or 5 years, at least he has that term of service history that we can give him. And we can show that we've done this X, Y, and Z for him for the last 4 or 5 years or whatever. The other side of it is we record, when we're doing the service sheets, we record the serial number of the boat, the year of the boat, and a few little identity things like that. And amazingly, like, I think this was about 4 or 5 years ago, I got a call now from a guard up the country who had found a boat suspected to be stolen, but didn't know who it could be stolen from. Our sticker was on the boat. So he gave me the serial number of the engine, and I was able to tell him who owned the boat when we were servicing it. And by that he was able to find out whether the boat was stolen, whether it wasn't, when it left Jermaine and all that. So it's like there's a mine of stuff there that's very handy, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keep the
Not
record.
just history, like I think there was that some outboard turned up in Croatia, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah, stolen in Glengarriff, and 2 years later, the outboard was found in the back of a van crew going down through Croatia to be fitted to a boat, like 2 years on, and they were able to trace that back to the owner by the serial number by the owner in Ireland, because everything was traceable, like, which was brilliant.
Fantastic, yeah,
It was a
fantastic.
bit late for that poor devil in Glengarriff new engine by then, but at the same time, it just shows that it's important to keep some kind of records on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing too, really, to touch on is insurance and stuff like that. You know, if stuff does walk, it's very important to have insurance. It's affordable too. But you see it, fellas don't have insurance, and for the sake of a couple of £100, or even for the sake of a quote, definitely it's something to go about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we see it with a good bit there, because we'd be dealing with insurance claims and stuff like that on damaged boats, or like last year there with a run of boats, engines being stolen, and like on the insurance it's not outrageously priced. To be fair, the only thing is you do have to read it, look through it, and see what's covered and what's not. Because I touched on it in the last live there about the outboard locks. Like a lot of people don't know that you could have your engine insured, you could have your boat insured, your trailer insured, and everything. But if you don't have an approved outboard lock fitted to the engine, and that engine walks, and you've no proof of it, you might have it, but no proof of it. Proof of it is simply take a picture of it.
Yep.
With the date on it, save it, or send it. What I say to people is take a picture of it and send it directly to your insurance on the day and say, this is my outboard lock, this is the serial number of the engine, this is the serial number of the boat. They have it in, and there's no going back from it. It's been on it, it's been registered on it, and that's the end of it. Unfortunately, we've seen it where boats have been insured, engine stolen, and they won't pay out. They just won't. You know.
No, absolutely. It's a pity, but you know, for the sake of a few minutes, just take a picture of it, even to have on the record.
Yeah. I wonder now what is a good start for someone getting a boat. What classes can be done for a starter to get the basics? Yeah, so I suppose if there's someone buying a boat first off, or getting into boating first. Sure, like we say the same thing to everyone. You know, if you're just starting off, definitely go out with a trusted friend who knows his stuff, and get your basics and your basic bit of knowledge in, and then go find someone. Like some Mark down in Skull there, Irish Marine Training, and just go get him down either on your boat or go out in his boat and get some pointers. You don't have to do a full-blown course or anything, but get some proper advice. And to get out, because like a lot of these things are high-powered machines, and it's just better that you have some bit of knowledge heading out.
Absolutely, yeah. The likes of Mark is super for that. You know, it gives you a chance without making a massive investment into a boat, just to get a feel for it. It mightn't be for you, or you might say this is absolutely super. But you know, for the sake of whatever it is, saves you investing in a boat and saying, I actually hate this, or this is scaring me. You know, that's something you do see.
Yeah, 100%. So have a go first, definitely, and have a go with someone who's going to point out the good and the bad on things. And Mark is very good for that, to be fair to him. Now, there's a lot of marine training places in Ireland. To be fair, Mark is kind of local to us there. That's why we're mentioning Mark, because he's down in school, and we send him to a few people that deal with us when they're getting going, and we get great feedback on him. So, you know, and I've been on boats with him, so I know exactly what he's like. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's well flued in, which is great. I suppose like that, we're out and about there the last couple of months now, drawing boats back in.
Yeah.
For the winter, and like we're up and down to all the slipways basically from Glengarriff over as far as Ring and beyond. So we cover a pile of Westcock during the summer, so do you, even when you go out and you're jet ski. We won't talk about that yet, but jet ski. But we see a pile of different scenarios with slipways in West Cork, like. So we might touch on that for a minute there, just to, people are often looking for a new place to go or something. I'd be fierce interested in finding out about good slipways around the country, around Kerry or Clare or Galway or anywhere like that a fella might go on a road trip sometime and find somewhere where he can launch his boat and go for a nice little spin or something. Down in West Cork, we're lucky that we have a few good slipways once you know where you're going and the tides and all that. Baltimore and Bantry, I suppose you can really launch at any tides because they have the row slips.
Yeah.
That's always a good one to watch, isn't it? Where there's a row vessel coming in, taking cargo.
Yeah, regular traffic is what you're looking out for, and a regularly maintained slip too. Just a couple of things to look for when you're going down is obviously if the slip is green, don't drive down it. It literally is a slippery slope. You'd lose it in a shot. As you said, regularly trafficked slips, they're nearly always a safe bet.
Yeah. In fairness, I suppose Union Hall is usually very good. Baltimore, Skull is kept fairly well, to be fair. You have to watch tide there, alright though. You wouldn't want to be going down there now low tide expecting to go in. Same with Crookhaven, you wouldn't want to be launching low tide either. Bantry, you can launch really at any tide because that's not a row slipway there by the graveyard and the Abbey and Bantry.
Yeah.
The three main ones there. We'll say that Bantry, Union Hall and Baltimore are all manned. They've harbour masters, so the Port of Cork look after Bantry. There's a harbour master for their full time, so he's keeping an eye on things as well. On his doorstep, like same as the Baltimore harbour master and Union Hall harbour master, they keep a close eye on what's close to them. The other slips then outside, like we'd say, we launch in Marine quite a bit down near Castletownshend. It can be kind of hit or miss, and there's no one really to blame for that but ourselves, that we're not ringing up the harbour master and saying, the slip could do it clean, could you get it sorted? And sure, he gets onto the council and get it sorted, but who's ringing him to tell him? Like Tomas said, he's a busy man, so we can't really be blaming him for it.
Absolutely.
But it is nice to get to know areas and stuff as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Would you give much of a starting boat for 10 grand? That's a good one. It depends on what you're looking for, and what you're expecting for your 10 grand. Which is like, are you looking for a rib, or are you looking for a fishing boat, a punt? Are you looking, I suppose the second-hand market is very strange this year, because
absolutely.
Like you've seen it there since COVID, things are just demented. After COVID there, when things opened up from the lockdown, it was just everyone wanted a boat. They didn't even care what type it was, what make it was. They just wanted boats. So boats were selling hand over fist. You could sell anything.
Yeah.
Now the table has turned a little bit in the last year, hasn't it?
Yes.
Where things have definitely taken a little slow down. Probably no harm realistically, because kind of coming back to a realistic amount of money for a boat.
Yeah.
I think if you're clever and you shop around for your 10 grand, you'll get something.
I agree, yeah.
But you would want to be careful with 10 grand. You want to be very careful.
You would.
If you want to tell us what kind of boat you're looking for, we can give you a few pointers, no problem. But we'd have to know what you're looking for really, whether it's a rib or a fishing boat, a punt,
Yeah.
So,
100%.
and I wouldn't be afraid to buy an old boat once she's in good nick, because like we've seen there now, I know there was a big investment into it, but the dive club, the underwater rescue gang that brought us the boat early this year, like, 9 fellas out of 10 would have said that's only fit for the dump.
Yeah.
But with a bit of an investment into it, sure, it was like a brand new boat when it left, to be fair. Now I know it got everything new on it and they were in that, but if you're an individual picking up something like that cheap, you could pick up the bits and pieces over the winter and be working on it like as a project and bring it up to a standard. Like I suppose,
Good, yeah, absolutely.
In the likes of that, you know, when they brought that boat here and wanted our opinion on it, like what we looked for straight away was the condition of the hull, you know, and whether that hull was going to put up with another 20 years of work, which most of them will unless they're badly damaged at some point in their life. Then you go to the tubes in the likes of a rib, and if the tubes are solid and there's not 45 patches on them, and if they're holding air, you can brighten tubes, you can do a lot with tubes to bring them up. Again, all depends on your budget, but I think you'll pick something up for 10 grand now, alright, especially if you're patient. This time of year is a good time of year to be shopping, because you've got from now until next May. The best advice I'd give a fella is to sit back and relax and keep an eye on the market, keep an eye on things that come up. You'll find something alright.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Just take a chill pill and there will be something come up. There's something comes up for everyone nearly. As you said, between kind of the winter time, the end of the season, and just before the season starts again, you'll see most boats for sale, or the best deals for sale anyway. I just see Caleb asking their best starter boat. That's a tough one. It's, you know, what you want to get into. Do you want the speedboat or fishing or a rib? We're back to the same thing. But I'd go rib anyway. I don't know about you. I just think you have serious reliability and serious ability in it as well. And they're reasonably priced too for the usage that you'll be able to get out of them if you use them right.
Yeah, I suppose there's something for everyone in a rib, depending on what type of rib you're looking at. Like, if you want something fast, if you want something comfy, you know, there's a bit of forgiveness as well in a rib. You can give it a bump off the pier with the tubes if you've good enough tubes. They'll take a little bump off the pier to get going and stuff like that. I'd be saying if you're starting out, keep your budget low and just go for reliability. Don't go for flash, go for reliability. It's like buying a first car. You're going to grow out of it fairly lively.
Yeah.
You know, the first boat usually only lasts a couple of years and then they move up. And it is a good way if you get into like a smaller, tidier rib for a start and just build your way up and just ideally get to know whether you're going to enjoy it, to know whether you're going to have the fun on it that you expect to have, and you want to get the use out of it that you expect to have. Like what I see with a lot of fellas that are working is that they only get the weekends during the summer to get out, and they might be working half a day on a Saturday the odd time. They could just miss that weather window. You could get fine weather all week, and as soon as you think about the boat, here comes the wind and the rain, and you can't get out. So, go keenly priced and start small and build your way up.
Yeah, 100%. Starting small is one of the best ways to get into it. You know, there's a few fellas that are able to just come in right at the top end and buy a serious machine from the start. And look, fair play to them. That's great if you can. But a lot of fellas are getting into it. Do you know, the likes of us, we got into it with small machines and built up, like, and you're getting the experience of different boats, the experience of what can go wrong with different boats. There's a good few benefits to building it up as opposed to just coming in with the dream boat, say. I definitely opt for that option anyway, 100%.
I'd say 90% of people, when they're thinking of their dream boat, before they buy, it's not what they'll end up with.
Yeah.
You know, they'll try a few different things and they'll move. Like, we saw boats there that have been owned by 3 or 4 different owners over 7 or 8 years. And the same boat is moving from owner to owner as they progress up the ladder to get something slightly bigger, something slightly more modern, you know, and they can tee off in so many different directions with it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I just see there was a question in there on how E10 affects the performance of the engines. We kind of touched on it at the start, but it definitely does have an effect on the performance, mainly the fuel filtration and fuel delivery systems. But I'd say it's hard to gauge because it's not in long enough, but I think it does have a small bit of an effect on the performance and the longevity, I'd say, but I don't know what you think of that.
Yeah, I suppose definitely on the older stuff. It's definitely a big effect on the older stuff that's not built for it. Like the older stuff would have been built for the 0 or E5. Two strokes are really suffering. I think like, geez, how many two strokes have we taken off in the last couple of years that are just they've gone from being nice reliable engines to being just running good today, bad tomorrow, and you go down, you tweak them, and they run good today, and they're bad again tomorrow. They're up and down. I think a lot of the problem there is what you said earlier on. The E10 is burning hotter.
Yeah.
Two-stroke engines depend on two-stroke for cooling as well as the water running through them. The two-stroke has a big cooling effect on them as well. So if the petrol is burning hotter, it's having that little adverse effect of the engine temperature running it a bit higher, and the cylinders are burning hotter, and eventually that's just going to cause a lot of wear, and you're going to have problems straight away, like you're going to have scoring cylinders and everything else happening. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's just adding to a list of problems, really. Two strokes are already not problematic, but harder to keep running. Fouling plugs, lean plugs, as you said, burning cylinders. Their day is kind of ran, unless you are fully into maintaining it yourself and are happy to be on the spanners every time you go out. It's nicer to go for a 4-stroke,
Yeah, 100%. It's a shame because it's like I used to love the old 2-strokes. They were so basic. They were so basic to work on and everything. They were, I used to love tuning them and getting them right and stuff like that. But the way it is now, they just drive you into you have them perfect, and then a couple of weeks later there's an issue again, and you're going back and it's a fuel related issue. Nearly 99 times out of 100 it's fuel related.
Yeah.
No, it's not that the 4-strokes are getting away with it completely. They're not. The older original 4-strokes, we're seeing ones there, we'd say from 15 years old that way. We're seeing issues with them as well. Seeing lots of issues with them really this year. A lot of which I put down to the E10 fuel taking its toll as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Thrown in with a bit of age and running in the environment they're running.
Yeah, their days kind of just ran. You see, most places you see a 2-stroke now is I just see Ken saying there 2-strokes need a good man running them. Absolutely, you'd see a lot of the racing lads running the 2-stroke, but again, like they're on the spanners after every race. They're not using it for leisure use. It's not being laid up. They're looking after it, and a 2-stroke will run in that instance. But yeah, definitely 4-stroke is the way to go.
Yeah. And like I know you hear the ethanol removal kits there. I think we touched on that as well when we were talking. That great if you only require a small amount of fuel, like for your strimmers and your chainsaw or your pants or whatever it is. But for the volume of boat, we'd say of even 40-50 horsepower goes through within a few hours. Like you're talking about 20 litres there every 2-3 hours on a 40 horsepower, 50 horsepower outboard. You'd be a week trying to put the fuel together for it using the ethanol removal kits, and I don't know. I don't think the treatments are much good either.
No,
they're probably a help in some way, but
yeah, they're better than nothing. I suppose they're worth a shot, but again, just get it out. If you're laying it up, just get it out if you can. That's all I'd say really. I just see a comment there. You see a lot of cars being converted to gas. Can you see that coming into the boating side? It's a tough one. There's advancements, all right, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be coming into that. I think we were in Dusseldorf there at the start of the year, and was it Yamaha had the hydrogen engine on display?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. It looked just identical, didn't it? Bar just the injector rail.
Literally, yeah. It was just standard like petrol engine and just a different injection system. Really cool to see it. Actually, they had kind of an engine cut in half essentially, and then their hydrogen injection system, and Looks class, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'll picture that. I'll throw it up during the week there. And,
Yeah.
because it doesn't really do it justice, but it looked like it could work.
Yeah.
It was a concept motor, all right, but it did look like the fuel cell tucked in the front of the engine.
Yeah.
Down below the cowling. I suppose they're just not there yet. I know that is it like JCB and them are running hydrogen excavators and stuff now. So
yeah, it's definitely coming in.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the marine market yet. Like I think diesel tried to get into the outboard side of things, and what company was that? Ox came in with the diesels, and they didn't really take off. It's just petrol still has the hold, and I think will do for the next few years anyway. You know, they're reliable and easily fueled, so I think they're going to stick around for a good while.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. The diesels are, you'd see now and again the commercial lads that have a lot of them, but for the leisure boater, I think they're probably outpriced from. You're dealing with a little bit more weight and stuff on the back of the boat too, so there's a lot to take in. Like you'd often see on the plate of the boat there, you'd see a maximum horsepower, but you'd also see a maximum weight for the transom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not free.
No.
But it could be, I think, a viable alternative in time when it's. I know it's supposed to be very explosive and stuff like that, so there's a lot goes into the, I suppose, making it public safe. Going back to what your man said about the gas, putting like LPG, like I've seen the cars long go. When I was a young fella, I knew a couple of lads that were running LPG, the gas barrel in the boot of the car hooked up. But I don't know, LPG in a boat, I can't see it. I couldn't see it working.
No, I don't think so. It's sticking with petrol for the next while anyway.
I think so.
Yeah.
Friend of mine burned a generator on it and created a wind turbine. Christ.
It's a bit above our heads there now. Making stuff with wind turbines. And stick to the outboards.
Yes, I thought the cars in the 90s. Yeah. My uncle had a Mark II Escort running on a barrel of gas in the back of the car.
Yeah. You see, just on fueling there, you see some of the electric outboards coming in. They're in a while now, in the smaller horsepower, like Torqeedo there came out with it. I'd say they're nearly 10 years on the market now. And they're kind of trying to branch into the bigger outboards. Again, I don't see it overtaking petrol in the next few years. I don't know what your thought on the electric side of things there.
I suppose, I'd be with you on that, because I suppose the biggest problem you have with a boat is weight. You can't carry the volume of batteries a car carries to get the same horsepower. You see a standard saloon Tesla weighing 2.5 tons, whereas the ordinary saloon car weighs a little bit with a ton maybe.
Yeah.
So that might be to get 150 horsepower or something. There's no way you're going to put a ton of batteries into a rib that carries that there's 150 horsepower in the back. It's just, she's going to go down like a stone. It's making her too heavy to push through the water, and especially the way boats work is they have to lift out of the water and plane across the top, and to lift that weight out of the water to sit it on a plane, it would take way too much effort, too much torque, and I think you wear down batteries very, very quickly if you're dealing with a heavy boat.
Yeah, 100%. Couple that then with salt air and corrosion. Batteries don't deal with corrosion inside in the house, let alone if you're going to plonk them on the sea. So I don't see it happening, to be honest. Small outboards that you're taking off into a yacht or things like that, maybe, but not the bigger stuff.
Yeah, the little tenders running in and out. The electric, they seem to be working away okay. Fellas seem to be getting on alright with them. We don't see any of them. We've never seen anyone bring an electric outboard to us, so we can't really comment on them, but
no.
I just can't see it. I just can't see it.
No.
We'll stick with petrol.
We will. We will. We're pro petrol. Pro petrol.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah. So I suppose what was your favorite? What is your favorite type of work on the boats that we do? I suppose you might as well do the opposite then as well and do your least favorite.
Oh, that's a tough one now. It's hard to pick out the two of them, to be honest. Like anything, it depends on the day. Some days you're in the farm to crack into an engine, and other days you're just in the farm to, well, you're never in the farm to lie down under a boat and sand it, but
Yeah, right.
he knew that was coming. The sanding of boats is atrocious. Shocking stuff. Should be a form of torture, but sure, look, it has to be done.
Tell us how you really feel looking.
Oh, lad. No, definitely that is probably the worst. The sanding, you're stuck under a boat. We're lucky with, the two of us cracking into it. You'd be done a fair sized boat in an hour and a half, 2 hours, but on your own you're facing into a couple of hours of hard sanding lying on your back under a boat. It's not nice, like. But then, the pros in our line of work, we're lucky enough to be looking after boats for people and, drawing him in, I suppose. That is probably one of the best side of it. Or fitting new engines. Fitting new engines is nice work. You're dealing with all fresh gear. Nothing's missing. It's nice. The new side of things is lovely.
Yeah, it's like you say, bringing in the boats or even taking them out, whatever. The getting a spin off all the different types of boats and having a go. Like one of the ones we done in Baltimore there this year. Now it was nice to see you bring her in. She was a big, the 8.5 meter with the 500 horsepower in the back.
Yeah, she was nice. Bit nerve wracking bringing that onto the back of a trailer, but
yeah, it wasn't a nice day either. Like it was a crappy old day, so it was a test of your skill, but fair play, not bothering you.
Sound.
Yeah, but we see like that you get to see and feel a lot of the different boats as well. There's every variety coming to us, from Cobra, Ribeye, you name it, Zeppelin, Zodiac, whatever. They're all we've driven a lot of them, and it is nice to see the differences in them and to feel the differences in them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, to be fair, they all have their pros and cons, but it is nice when you get to try out a few of them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I just see Ken there, shocked at the 500 horsepower. That was actually 2 outboards. Were they 250 a piece or something? 250 max. Yeah, you can get up to 600 in a single engine now. What is she? 600 or the V12, or they did still V8?
I think 600. I'm not sure.
V8.
Sure.
V8. On the V8. Yeah, the
V8 is 350.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. 350, so I presume the 600s, I think in Mercury, I don't know, Suzuki, there's some talk, Suzuki's going to be over 600 in the next year or so. But I have only just brought out the 350.
Yeah. Yeah. Serious machines. We saw them in Dusseldorf as well. Colossal yokes when you're standing next to them. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, the picture I put up earlier, that's you standing beside the 300.
Forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah. No, they're impressive. It's a kit and they're so big when you look at them. Like even the 350s there. I don't think we've stored anything bigger or working anything bigger than 350 at the moment. No. But like even the cover, you'd want the two of you together to pick them off.
You would, yeah.
Unless you're above it, but on the ground working, you'd need 2 lads there to put the cover off even just to get at it.
Definitely, yeah. And I'd want the ladder as well. I wouldn't be blessed in the height department, so I need the ladder. No, but definitely, colossal machines. Colossal. Really cool to see them. And the things that come with them, like I think that Suzuki now has a duo prop box on it, and that is cool to see working. You have your standard propeller turning clockwise, and you have a secondary propeller attached literally straight onto it, and they're turning counterclockwise. It is cool to see working. I suppose, what would be the benefits of that? The dual prop system over the single?
Dual prop, you get a lot more torque and speed, really. Like it straightens out the lines as well, because if you had all that torque going into one propeller, you have a little bit of pull. You have to do the adjustment there to get the boat to run straight.
Yeah.
Whereas a duo prop seems to push more in a straight line. It's easier to straighten the boat from it. The other thing people do overlook is when you set up a new engine and you take a boat out. A boat can be like a car with its tracking slightly out, or she's running off to the left or running off to the right a little bit. And it's amazing. There's a small little fin above the propeller and a slight adjustment in that, and you can straighten it out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The little anode on the back, the little trim tab. Unbelievable what it can do.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. One little notch will straighten it out usually.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook it. They don't know about it, and their boats are always running slightly off, and they think that that's normal. But no, And you can have the other side of it too, where your boat is too torquey or your engine is too torquey for your boat, and she's just throwing herself on her side. That's just that you've got too much torque back there to push her over. With the likes of the tracking, Ken was saying there's so many lads love the idea of getting into the car mechanics. Boats is definitely overlooked. Yeah, 100%. I suppose it isn't for everyone either.
No.
Definitely not for everyone. There's a lot more guys into cars than there is into boats, and boats and boat engines, as you know well, Duncan, they'll test you. They'll test every nerve in you. Some days they're a pleasure, like anything else, but they're small, they're hard to work on. There's a lot of ripping involved to get at certain stuff. Like with a car, we'll say it's always in my mind anyway. The reliability aspect of it. In a car, you can pull in and pull up the handbrake and get out, and tongue lift somewhere or something. But if you're working in outboard, you're trying your best to make sure it's 100%, because you don't want fellas broken down at sea. That's a nightmare scenario for anyone. Even if they're out in safety, it's just the daunting aspect of being surrounded by water and not being able to step out and get off and get away. So there's a lot in it really, but it's not for everyone. But if you like it, definitely I'd advise anyone have a crack off it and have a go.
Oh yeah, 100%. See if you have a passion for it, because you do have to have a passion. Yeah. Definitely when I was,
like the way you got into it, like coming to me there on the Saturdays and trying it for a while. You were a good spell coming Saturdays there, and so you got to taste all sides of things before you committed to coming more often. And I've had the other side as well, where fellas come and it's not for them. But it's good to see them coming, having a go, and having an honest go at it. I mean, if it doesn't suit, it doesn't suit. And I find that over the years, you'll have fellas that think it's for them, and when they get into it, it's not.
Yeah.
So if you can at all, if you're thinking about getting into it, try and go a few Saturdays like that, or give it a little while over a few months, and just see is it for you, and hopefully the guy you're going to will give you a chance to look at all aspects before he drops you in it and gives you a 5-day week and decides to put you sanding for 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all.
Oh no, definitely try and get a feel for it first, and don't go into it expecting it to be a certain way. I was guilty of that. I went into it thinking, this is class, I'm going to be working on massive machines, something nobody else does. And that is true, there's not many fellas at it, but definitely it's not as glorious as fellas think. There's a lot more in it, when you're folded up in a console there, and it's dripping down on top of you, it's not nice, and that happens more often than you think,
Absolutely, yeah. So if you think about it from now until next May again, we'll rarely see the water. It'll be all stuck in the boats, fixing problems and servicing and anti-fouling and all that kind of stuff over the winter. And it's there's good days and there's bad days, but that's in every job. But if you're going to get into it, I definitely have a taste of it first, and just see if it's going to work for you or not.
Definitely, yeah. We're not trying to put anyone off it at all. It's a super trade to be in, but definitely
100%.
try before you get stuck in all the time.
And there's a shortage of lads in it, to be fair.
There is, yeah. definitely.
There's a big shortage. Like there's loads of work there. It takes a bit of while to build up your name because like it's what I found anyway over the years building up West Cork Marine is you're building up trust as much as anything else. The customers really have to trust you because they're giving you a very expensive toy and that they want you to look after. They're like a lot of the people we deal with are coming down for a month during the summer or 6 weeks or a couple of months, whatever, during the summer, and they're depending on us to have their boat bang on so that they don't have problems for the summer. And if there is a problem, they expect us to sort it ASAP. Don't hang around. They're only down for a short amount of time. Thankfully, we don't get a lot of trouble during the summer, but you do have bits. You do have bits and pieces. Fellas do hit rocks and they do strike pontoons and bust sponsons, and you do have issues. Like there's no bother. There's no worries about that. But if you can set them up in the best way possible, they're happy. But they must trust you to do it. You know. Yeah. You find that as well, I'm sure, that when people get to know you and they know you're looking after them, they're much happier to deal with you, and they're much happier to just let you at it. They don't want to.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely one side of it that fellas don't really think about is you have to get them to trust you, and the only way of doing that is good work. You know, providing a reliable service. Because as you said earlier, you touched on it. Like if you've an issue in a car, you're going to put up the handbrake and pull in. You know, and you get out. That's it. You're fine. But with a boat, you're not getting out. Like, you're more often than not a couple of miles away from any help. So definitely, responsibility is massive, and trust is huge as well. 100%. Yeah.
As long as I'm in the game, I've never seen an AA truck at the fastnet.
No, he'd be going well.
He would, yeah. He would, yeah. I'm living 5 minutes away from Glendore. A big boarding place. Yeah, absolutely. Glendore is a great boarding place.
Massive.
We've got some mighty places down here in West Cork, to be fair. We're spoilt. Like Baltimore there is fantastic, and Skull and places like that, because you can get out. And on most days, even if the weather is blowing a little bit, you've got the shelter from the islands and stuff like that. Glendore now is a big enough harbour, like a full tide there. You can go all the way up to Lepo, Tuning Hall, and back around to Glendore. You'll spend an hour knocking around on a boat, no problem. You know, so we're blessed down here, to be fair.
Yeah, very lucky. Absolutely. Very, very lucky. How big of a job?
Fairly big now, to be fair.
Yeah, just buy a jet ski. That's the handiest way.
Yeah. If you're mad enough to buy a jet ski, buy a jet ski. Yeah. Speaking of which, you've had an experience there lately. You bought yourself a jet ski there lately. How are you getting on with it?
Flying it, yeah. No, they're the way to go, to be honest. Don't bother with a boat. No.
What are you doing? Shut up, Duncan.
No, definitely. They're an acquired taste. Like, you know, one thing that you definitely see when you get into them is a lot of fellas aren't a fan of them. You know, you'd rock on there with the jet ski on the back, and fellas would nearly be coming over to you, and they wouldn't be happy with you. Which I suppose, look, it is fair enough. Unfortunately, there's a small few people with skis around the place, and like anything, the small few will wreck it for the rest of them. But once you get over that side of it, absolutely super. You'd want to be wanting it, all right. You know, they're a different breed of machine. They're nothing compared to a boat. They are quite literally a motorbike for the water. You know, so you'd want to be in it for the adrenaline, like. They wouldn't be much of a cruiser, like, but absolutely, if anyone wanted an adrenaline hit on the water, they're the way to go. As long as they're going, and when they stop, good luck.
yeah, they stop. They're a nightmare. They're a nightmare.
We don't work on them, by the way. Just put that out there.
Yeah. No, we'll stay away from them for a while. Yeah, they can be notoriously troublesome when they do give up. Now, like over the years, I've seen a lot of friends and stuff with jet skis, and they've great fun with them. It's super fun with them. But like, again, they're a dangerous machine. You certainly want to know what you're at on a jet ski.
100%.
They will throw you into the oblivion, basically. Like, if you don't have a kill card on one of them, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely. They are dangerous. That's for sure. Do you know, not just because of the speed they're capable of, but just the way they handle. You would kind of want to get a feel for it before you go ripping them, to be honest. And the speed too, I suppose. If you come off with it 60 or 70 mile an hour, it's like hitting concrete. You know, you will be hurt. So just mind yourself, really. Same with a boat. If you're irresponsible on a boat and you come out of it going 30 mile an hour, you are going to be hurt. You know, it's like anything. Just keep it handy until you know what to do. And even then, mind yourself.
I don't think there'd be anything so frightening as to be lying in the water looking at the boat going the other way. You know, and you're lying down there in the water, half knocked out. You know, it's a dangerous place to be. So,
yeah.
And a lot of people don't know it, but if you hit the water at speed, it is the same thing as hitting the road or the concrete. You'll just hit that thing, it will hurt so bad. As a young fella, I fell off water skis and dislocated my shoulder. I hit the water so hard to hop off it. You know, it's a serious smack. Like,
yeah. It isn't the cushion at all. You're not going into the water. You're actually hitting it on top.
You'll bounce off it. Like,
you would. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But
so stay on the jet ski is the name of the game.
Stay on it. Absolutely, yeah.
Hang on for dear life.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I suppose wiring. You kind of enjoy the wiring, don't you? As part of the job, you do. You're good at it anyway. I'll say that. But the wiring is something I think you're excelling at, and you seem to enjoy it. So I suppose like the wiring in a boat is very different to the wiring of something on land, isn't it? You know, you're talking about. You can take it on from there, just the seal connections and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, 100%. It's very different. We touched on corrosion there with the batteries. That is a massive issue with the boat side of things, just because of the environment you're in. Like the salt water and the salty air is massively corrosive to anything metal, really, and of course wires are metal. So what we're trying to do in the last few years, well, since they've become available, are the likes of your seal connections and your ready solder connections, soldering, adhesive line heat shrink, just trying to protect the wires from the corrosion as much as we can. And I suppose what we're trying to do there is prevent the failures that you would commonly see with, say, wiring that's been done with the likes of household wiring or your standard crimp connections. They do fail after a small period. So yeah, we're just trying to prevent the corrosion basically. So like I said, sealed connections as much as we can, and just, you know, regular inspection. Just open the console and have a look. You'll see corrosion on terminals, and if you see corrosion on them, have a look at replacing them. You know, it's like anything on a boat, really. Just give it a look every now and again. If you can't see it every time you get on the boat, open the door, have a look at it, and it will save you. You know, one small wire, like just talking about the white wires on the Suzukis or even some of the Hondas now, one wire will stop you, and that's just short and sweet. Like you have to have everything right. Wiring is massively important. So I suppose just keep it right where you can. Give it an old look when you can.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I heard you there, checking the console and have you look in and look at the connections. It's no harm now this time of the year, if your boat is outside or inside, to just have that console door slightly open, or make sure there's air able to get in there. Maybe stick one of those dehumidifier boxes in there or something. Anything like that will help, just because whatever it is in the boat, they'll just condensate up inside and you'll get mold and mildew in any lockers and stuff like that, and it'll just cause you problems down the line.
Yeah, big time. Try and keep them aerated when you can.
Yeah, big part of it, yeah. So, Yeah, sure, we're nearly there. I suppose what was your favourite job to date on a boat?
Jeez, that's a tough one now.
Your
Uh,
favourite boat that you
favorite
what
boat.
will say the best, the most satisfaction you got out of a job?
I suppose the first Honda we fitted. Well, the first Honda I fitted since I was with you. That was probably the greatest job satisfaction. Um, I suppose we have the dealership. We're fitting a nice few of them now, but they are a lovely, lovely engine to fit. Everything's tasty on them. They are not massively overcomplicated to fit. I can't actually remember which Honda it was now. It might have been, I think it was that silver one that went on the boat in Kerry.
Oh yeah,
That was, yeah, yeah, that was the first one that we fitted, and they're just lovely to fit, really. Nice, simple, straightforward. They're quick enough if you know what you're doing. But yeah, that was the one that stands out in my head.
one that stand out in your head. Yeah. It is. I suppose like to mention my favourite one there over the last few years of the dive rib. I suppose seeing the transformation in it. Now, a lot of that, in fairness, was down to you. You don't have quite a work on that boat, but like to see the before and after. We took a lot of pictures during the job and everything, and like you were there the day she arrived.
Yeah.
And like that's something I always get a great kick out of is putting new life into a boat like that, and especially when we knew what she's going doing as well afterwards. But I just got great enjoyment out of seeing that come in, something come in that a lot of fellas would say that's throw that in the skip, get rid of it, and to be able to turn it around, and you know that like if that boat is cared for, there's 20 more years in that.
Easily.
If it's looked after properly and looked after right, which it will be by boys in fairness. But I think there's great satisfaction in that, and there was so much involved in it. We'll say like we fitted the new Honda, we fitted a new in-suspension trailer. We'd help from Dunmast and Cork to get the Ray Marine kit that they wanted for the search and rescue unit. And we also I think that was the first job that Ship Shape done for us as well.
Yeah.
Which was like outstanding work, what he done with the tubes that time, just stunning.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Like we had done a fair bit of cleaning ourselves to see what we could do with them. But to be fair, when we gave it to him and got it back, it was just they were impeccable, brilliant.
Yeah, genuinely, they were like new tubes. There was actually a couple of comments on the transformation video saying surely that rib was re-tubed, the likes of that. And absolutely, you believe it. Like, I think that, and we're seeing loads of different ribs come into us, but if I saw a video like that up on the internet, I'd say 100% that boat was re-tubed. But genuinely, they're the day one tubes.
Oh, they're the day one tubes, yeah. And if there's many of you on your lads, and if you have ribs, look up Ship Shape there on TikTok, and you'll see some of the stuff he's doing. It's like stunning work. To be fair, he's got a good few before and after pictures of ribs he's done, and like very, very impressive. And there's time in it, The fella in Ship Shape is a wizard with the tubes. He is indeed, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah.
For a young guy, he's got his head really screwed on, and very trustworthy young fella as well, I must say.
Yeah, absolute gent to deal with, and not just ribs. Even if you've the likes of cruisers and stuff like that, he does that as well. I think he's offering an on-water service for interiors and stuff like that. It's serious. Definitely have a look at the TikTok because it's worth a look. No matter what you have, he'll be able to help you. That's for sure. There now. Who would work on an Evernote G2 in Ireland struggling to find people? Brendan taking a drink to the tea there at the right time.
Unfortunately, like Evernote are no longer built. Johnson Evernote that company is gone with a few years, so you will struggle. Unfortunately, down here in West Cork, Jason probably does a little bit with them. Jason Whitley. Maybe it depends on where you are in Ireland. Viking Marine up in Wicklow I think still do a little bit. They used to be dealers for them. Marine Motors in Cork, they used to be dealers for them, and I think they still do a little bit with them. But I know the G2s are quite a bit they're staying away from, because they were the latest version of an engine, so fellas never got a chance to learn about them while there was a dealership still available. Johnson Evinrude went and sold it all the knowledge of their technicians and stuff. There was no dealer in Ireland had a backup to contact. So, and like parts are just hard to get. Everything's so hard to get them. So people just stay away from them. We don't do Johnson or Evinrude. We haven't done them for years for our own reasons. But just not great. I wouldn't envy now with a G2, to be honest.
No. You don't see many of them. That's for sure.
Lads, do you know what is the best product to clean the hull of a boat that's good and powerful? Clean the hull of a boat. There's the boat bottom cleaner there in CH Marine, or I think Marine Parts Direct too as well.
Yeah, the Starboard one.
But there's only Jason Whitley was doing it either. I just got a WhatsApp from there.
Is he offering to serve the Evinrude?
Sorry, Jason. Do you do mobile, Jason? We'll go and do it, G2. So yeah, the whole bottom cleaner is very good. The only thing I'd warn you is that it's highly acidic. Don't breathe it in. Wear a good mask when you're using it, and wash it off. Give it 5 minutes in the hull and wash it off. But there's a lot of products that are out there. We do use the boat bottom cleaner now, and it does get rid of a lot of staining and stuff like that. So that would be worth a shot, alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise, brilliant, thank you. No bother at all. So we covered wiring. Service kits, I suppose, is a thing we haven't touched on at all. We're using it now. You know, if someone was servicing their own engine and stuff, it would be something I'd recommend. Go to your dealer, like all the brands do them, usually a service kit, and they do like an integral one, so you'd have like 100 hour, a 300 hour, whatever it is, service kit. Go for the bigger one, is my recommendation, because you have stuff then in a box. If you don't even use it, you might have an impeller spare, you might have a few anodes to spare, bits and pieces like that, but it's worth doing it. Get onto your, if you have a Yamaha, go to your Yamaha dealer. If you have a Honda, go to your Honda dealer. If you have a Suzuki, go to your Suzuki dealer. And get a Mercury or the same. They do quite good service kits. Like basically all you're adding is the oils. So your engine oil and your gear oil, everything else is really in the kit.
Yeah.
Well worth checking out. Again, I suppose we're lucky enough down here, well, we're lucky enough to have good suppliers locally. You know, we've got Suzuki Yamaha dealer near us, and we're Honda dealers, so we can get those kits fairly easily. You can get generic kits as well, but just be careful that you've got everything in them and that you're giving the right model numbers and going through the right serial numbers and stuff to get them.
Yeah, definitely. And mind your warranty as well, if it's still in warranty. Yeah. Don't buy it yourself if it's still in warranty.
Yeah, if you're still in warranty, talk to your dealer if you want to do it yourself. If they're okay with you doing it yourself, then they'll stand over you if they know you or anything like that. But usually there's a lot of changes in that in the last couple of years there, where the competition authority took, the EU court ruling about warranty on main dealer stuff. But I'd still definitely use the OEM parts, like the main dealer parts.
Yeah.
Just only a few years, and if you've paid out big for an engine, it's probably worth just talking to your dealer about it or like that. We're lucky enough that we have one dealership and we deal very closely with a company that has the other dealerships, and they will back us up on our stuff, and we'll back them up on our stuff as well. So yeah, lucky enough that way.
Definitely.
So yeah, I suppose Have we enough trash talk for tonight?
I suppose
Anyway,
we'd run out and get going.
We'll probably be thrown out. If there's any questions, you've got about 10 seconds to throw them in. We'll call it a night. Duncan, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You might join in on a few of these in the future if we get a few guests on. You might pop in with us and throw in a question.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a few interesting folks on over the next couple of weeks.
We'll get Jason on next time. It's Jason. There's a lot of Jasons.
There's a lot of Jasons in the game, to be fair, yeah.
Can we get Jason next time? Yeah, so we'll try. We'll try a bit of a chat with him. He can come on and talk about the G2 Evan routes. Sure, perfect. Yeah, I suppose this, like, you kind of know the deal with these lives. We just want to bring a bit of information to people and bring a few interesting people on. So, like, I will definitely ask Jason if he's interested in coming on. I'm going to talk to Mark as well, see what he come on, and a few rides like that locally. And we try and get it out and about and get casual chat. And look, if you do have questions or people that you'd like to see on, send us a message, and so we'll see what we can do. Or if there's certain topics you'd like to talk about, send us a message on the page there, and I'll ask Duncan and he can tell me what to say then. Right, lads. Thanks a million for coming on. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks a million, Duncan.
Super. Thanks for having me. Mind yourself.
Good night, all.